You're allowed to clap. In fact, it makes us less nervous if you would. Welcome to Fountain Street Church. Welcome to Tuba Christmas. This is the 9th year that there's been a Tuba Christmas event here in Grand Rapids. We've moved around a few places. This is my house, my church. I said, let's try it here. So I hope you enjoy it. Tuba Christmas started 40 years ago on the ice rink in Rockefeller Center in New York City. It happens every year, various places around the country. I started in Baltimore in 1985, brought it to Detroit in 1986. There's one in Engadine, there's one in Marquette, there's two in Detroit, there's one in Kalamazoo on New Year's Eve. If you go to tubachristmas.com, you can see more about that. And find a seat someplace. Feel free to wander around. If you don't like the view in one location, go to a different one, and we'll play Christmas carols for you. Welcome.
The woman who was speaking earlier is Karen Dunham. She introduced herself, I believe, but I want you all to know that she is the one who puts this all together. I get to show up on a Sunday afternoon and meet with a bunch of my tuba friends, some of whom I know, some of whom I'm meeting for the first time, and make beautiful music with them, and she takes care of all of the organizational behind-the-scenes stuff. So let's please give her a big round of applause. I'm sure you all recognize that last tune. Now we're going to share with you a chorale from one of J.S. Bach's cantatas, specifically the Christmas cantata, which is a massive 6-part work, and this is near the end of that. And his Christmas cantata is a little unique in that it's performed for 3 days around Christmas and 3 days later on in the Christmas season, and this chorale is from the Epiphany, and it's called Beside Thy Cradle, Here I Stand. Tuba Christmases happen all across the country, and they range in size from as small as having a quartet get together to having 3 and 4 and even 500 tuba players get together. To me, this is just about the perfect size. If it gets a whole lot bigger, it becomes unmanageable, although, or no, I won't say unmanageable, I'll say harder to manage. Although if you have any friends who play tuba or euphonium, please come and invite them, because we're certainly not ever going to turn anyone away. This is a very fun thing for people of all ages to do. I remember going to my very first Tuba Christmas when I was a 7th grader, and I brought the junky old sousaphone, which was in way worse shape than any of the horns that you see behind us. It was leaking everywhere, and so there was the sound coming out of the bell, but there were also about 3 or 4 different sounds leaking out of different parts of that tuba. And I remember just being overwhelmed by the sound and thinking, wow, that's really cool. So we have on the stage behind us people from all levels, ranging from professional to amateurs, adults to high school and middle school students to college students who are, in some cases, going to major in music education or music performance, or some cases college students who are just continuing to play their instrument for fun. I think it's worth pointing out that that's something that we can do at any age. Is we can, if any of you used to play a musical instrument and you have not touched it in a long time, I know a lot of people who have picked it up and have gotten a lot of enjoyment out of that, be that a tuba or anything else. So if you know someone who would like to come and join us, please let them know about us for next year. And if you have not exercised your musical skills in a while, please don't be afraid to pick the instrument back up and have some fun with it, because it's a very rewarding thing to do.
A lot of times, Tuba Christmas is directed by a professional director or somebody who's a name director. I think Matt runs a high school band. We've made it more of a populist Tuba Christmas, and we have directors from the ensemble coming up to help lead a number now and then. And you know how you come out and you do the first thing for the first time and you're kind of nervous about it, and then the wild applause starts and you realize it's all going to be okay? Let's hear it for Sean. This is Lucas. This would be Faulkner.
So we heard Sean lead us through Patapan, which is not a super common Christmas tune in this country, but it's an Italian tune about a little boy with a drum. And Lucas led us through Come Susur Tod, which translates as Come Sweet Death. Now that might seem like a very strange thing to play at a Christmas concert. Here's how that happens. When tuba players gather at tuba Christmas events, we do it, at least in part, in memory of Bill Bell. And Bill Bell was the preeminent tuba teacher of his generation. And virtually every tuba player who has ever taken lessons from someone older than them, if you traced their family tree, so to speak, this person took lessons from this person, took lessons from this person, that almost always goes back eventually to Bill Bell. And I've talked with several professional tuba players about that, and it's usually not too many steps until you get there. And even when you talk with people who just play for fun, you know, maybe somebody played tuba in high school for a few years and they took a couple lessons with this person, and you follow that person to that person, and eventually you get to Bill Bell. Bill Bell's favorite tune was that chorale that we did, Come Sweet Death. And I finally, just a few weeks ago, heard a good explanation for what that title means. I always thought, gosh, what a sad song to do at Tuba Christmas. Come Sweet Death is meant in the German song that it's from, in the sense of someone who has lived a long and full life, a very meaningful life, someone who has done their best to be a good person for many, many years, and at the very end of their life just feels tired and that they're ready to meet God. And in that sense, it's Come Sweet Death. And so that was Bill Bell's favorite tune, and that's why we play that at Tuba Christmas. I'm not going to read you Bill Bell's biography, but he did so many amazing things. He played with the Sousa Band. He played in the NBC Symphony Orchestra, and there's a particularly famous story that he was playing under Toscanini, the famous conductor, and was playing a solo, and Toscanini stopped the orchestra and asked him to play it again. And he heard him play it again, and he said, "Please play it again." And he heard him play it again, and he asked him to play it another time, and finally Bill Bell said, "Please, maestro, what's wrong?" And his response was, "Nothing. I've rarely heard anything so beautiful." And so for Toscanini to say that to a tuba player really says something about Bill Bell's musicianship and artistry. This is an arrangement that's written as a quartet. We're going to play it as a quintet with 5 of us. This is Christmas Jazz Medley, arranged by Lenny Niehaus. You'll hear It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and Jingle Bells.
Those folks rehearsed that at about 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the afternoon. And our whole ensemble has been playing together since 1 p.m. We all use a book devised by the Harvey Phillips Foundation out of tubachristmas.com, and people have books that are 20 years old, 30 years old, and then there's new folks who just bought their books today. So I always do some demographics. We have quite a few players who are in middle school. We've got 4 people who are 12 and 1 that's 11. Could you folks stand up? Some way back in the back there. And on the other end of that spectrum, somebody has admitted to being 66. Go ahead, don't worry. There we go. Somebody's been playing for 6 months, someone's been playing tuba or baritone for 3 months, and we have a trombonist who picked one up today. Could you folks wave at the crowd for me? There we go. The Cunningham family traveled about 166 miles from Armada, Macomb County, St. Clair County area, 4 of them. All on euphoniums. Cunninghams, there they are, front row. They all play euphonium, baritone, and they said they make it a habit every year to play a Tuba Christmas, and they decided to come over to Grand Rapids and check us out. So I saw a lot of new faces today playing their first Tuba Christmas. First Tuba Christmas. And we have some groups. We've got some students from Grand Valley. We've got at least one person from Michigan State. We've got a couple people from Western. And we have a group from Northview High School, including the band director, 2 of his students, and an alumnus. Northview. And we have some wild and interesting horns. Hank has a Helican baritone in the back there by the organ. Look at that thing. We've got some sousaphones. Those are the marching tubas that you see, the plastic ones, and the 2 in the back. We've got E-flat tubas. E-flats? Yay. Looks like a tuba, only smaller. Mine's an E-flat as well. C tubas. B-flat tubas. That's most of them. And the smaller horns that you see in the front row are baritones or euphoniums. If you could hold those up, let us get a good look at them. Matt tells me there's an F tuba or 2. F? Yeah. Okay. As you can see, Tuba Christmas doesn't wear concert black. Part of the trend is to decorate your horn. So if you've got something wild, battery lights, reindeer, anything at all, hold your horn up so we can all enjoy it. You should have seen them walking in. A lot of them had bags and extension cords and tape, and they sat there. And Tuba Christmas has a traditional curtain call type of thing where they all exercise their biceps and lift their horns in the air. So if you'd like to get your camera ready. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, quick, put them down before you drop them. And that's all the information I have to share. Back to Matt. Oh, 42 players this year.
This is my favorite version of Jingle Bells in the whole wide world. Not just because it's tubas, but because after you hear the chorus of Jingle Bells, we get to play the melody from one of the most famous marches in the world, and it's particularly famous among tuba and euphonium players because it has such a great low brass part. We actually get the melody. Now here, we all get the melody a little bit, but in band, we spend at least 95% of our time, probably more like 99% of our time, playing a supporting role. That's a very important role in the band, because if the tuba players aren't supporting the band well, then the rest of the band really notices it. And so the tuba really is, in the band, a very important instrument, even when we're not playing the melody. But when we do get the melody, we get a special kick out of it. And so you'll hear the melody to, I'm afraid I'm going to say the wrong march again. National Emblem. Thank you. You'll hear the melody to the famous melody to National Emblem halfway through.
This is only the second time I've done this.